We have already talked in detail about the concept of attachment in the videos Living in the Continuous Presence of the Teacher and The Path of the Interior Temple. For our today's topic, we specify: you can attach any place in the material world to any place in the spiritual world. You connect your eternal home with your material place of residence and work, which thus becomes a physical branch of the subtle ashram of your teacher on earth. That is still rather unclear to me. What exactly do you mean by attachment? Think of the pyramid of the worlds. Imagine heaven as a pyramid consisting only of the upper two non-material levels and open at the bottom. Our task is, we are to add the foundation at the bottom, to dock, so to speak, the physical level to the spiritual one, and only thus to create the unity of the three worlds. Just as a pot is open at the top and needs a lid to be complete, so the higher world is open at the bottom and must be closed there with a suitable material base in order to make the entire world building a unit, like a monolith. It is of the utmost importance that you realize Shambhala is not complete until it becomes a reality, not only in the higher world, but also on the earthly plane. And how now do I attach myself? You move ever closer to the subtle sanctuary in heaven. Surely I can't soar into the air. No, the docking is not meant physically. You set up this spiritual order that prevails in your teacher's ashram, in your place of residence as well. Thus, you produce a spiritual harmony, regardless of the material distance. You are now living in the same spiritual world as your teacher. We can also express it in another way. You put yourself and your surroundings in the same vibration of sublimity and solemnity that reigns at the holy mountain. Places of the same wavelength, spheres of the same vibration, are indeed inwardly connected. Here is a deep realization and great wisdom. Everything is energy, and that is all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. This is not philosophy, this is physics. So you create little Shambhala on earth by producing the Shambhala vibration in the place where you live. Finally, a third picture. You take the ashram of your teacher as the subtle backdrop for your material life, just as you choose a wallpaper for your room. You perceive and experience the whole reality, which consists of physical, visible and spiritual invisible aspects. You are living and working on earth against the scenery of the holy mountain. The world, which is in contact with each spirit, is an expression of his own striving. What a beautiful, creative world the Agni Yogi builds around him. Your life on the material plane is beautiful when it is attached to the fiery world. You should not think that a merely passive attitude is sufficient. Approaching heaven also requires your active participation in the great work of the brotherhood that is carried out there. Hardly anything contributes so much to mutual attachment as joint work on a common project. At the foundation of our community is the fullness of labor. In labor lies the secret of a group of people living together. Nothing removes you more from the higher spheres than refusal to contribute to the work deemed vital by the masters. The community, being a fellowship first of all, sets as a condition for entrance two conscious decisions: labor without limit and acceptance of tasks without rejection. As below, so above. As on earth, so in heaven. As in everyday life, you cultivate the connection with your teacher best by regularly meeting him and having a familiar conversation with him. In this subtle world, a teacher and his disciples actually come together in the morning and in the evening. Not your body, but your soul can join and participate in this conversation. Those who wish to attach themselves to our abode must commune more often with their heart, and through it send us at least silent calls. Sometimes these calls are referred to as without thought, because they are expressed in feeling rather than thought. You may also understand the entry into the ashram of the teacher in this way. You enter the area of the ray of your teacher. I have already spoken about how the spirit understands. When the ray joins the master with the disciple, then the main flow of understanding is transmitted by the perception of the spirit. What then guides the disciple's conduct is neither a note nor a sign, but the spirit's incontestable knowledge. This certain knowledge provides the swiftest channel, precisely not a mental decision, but the knowledge of the spirit. I don't understand that. What is a ray? You can imagine the ray of the teacher as a protected channel that goes through the dark layers close to earth and connects you with heaven. Through this channel, power, joy, light, love, comfort, hope, knowledge, guidance, and help flow to you from above. And how exactly do I enter the area of the ray? The connection is established through your love, devotion, and obedience towards your teacher. Once the energy of the heart swells up with love and devotion, a luminous spiral will whirl out into space and naturally will encounter the teacher's ray due to the law of attraction. Living in the sphere of the ray transfigures your material everyday existence. Heaven is open. Heaven is accessible. You can visit your teacher at any time. His door is always open to you, but it is you who has to cross the threshold. The ray of the teacher illuminates you. You illuminate your surroundings. As the moon radiates the light of the sun, you radiate the light of hierarchy to your surroundings. However, this is a privilege that you have to earn. The divine light is bestowed upon the universe to the extent that this is worthy of it. Be vigilant and ask yourself at every moment during the day, am I still under the ray? We protect only those upon the right path. When someone wavers in darkness, he falls out of the area of the ray. You have already made this observation. The light path which the sun casts on water always leads exactly towards you. When you move on, it moves with you. In the same way, you must see to it that you never leave the sphere of the ray of the teacher. That is, never lack love, devotion, and obedience, wherever you are standing and wherever you are going